We're constantly told that the path to success requires being the loudest voice in the room, networking at every happy hour, and broadcasting every move. But behind the scenes, there's a quiet, understated trait quietly driving massive financial success: the capacity for solitude. It's the superpower of being perfectly content without external validation. When you don't care about impressing the neighbors or matching a lifestyle you saw on social media, you unlock a level of financial focus that no hustle culture seminar can ever teach you. People who are naturally inclined toward quieter, more solitary, more internally focused lives, introverts, tend to save more money, carry less consumer debt, and make more deliberate financial decisions than their more extroverted counterparts. Not because they are smarter, not because they earn more, but because their natural personality tendencies align remarkably well with the behaviors that build financial wealth over time. Today, we are going to explore exactly why that is, what it is about introversion specifically that creates financial advantages, where the research points, and what both introverts and extroverts can learn from the connection between personality and money. Let us start with what introversion actually means, because the popular understanding of it is frequently wrong. Introversion is not shyness. It is not social anxiety. It is not a preference for being alone all the time or an inability to engage confidently in the world. Introversion is fundamentally about energy. Introverts recharge through solitude and lose energy through extended social interaction. Extroverts gain energy from social engagement and feel drained by extended periods alone. This distinction matters because it shapes behavior in ways that are deeply connected to spending patterns, financial decision-making, and wealth accumulation, connections that most financial analysis never examines. The first and most direct financial advantage of introversion is the natural resistance to social spending. A significant proportion of consumer spending is not driven by genuine need or even genuine desire for the thing being purchased. It is driven by social context. Going out because your group of friends is going out. Buying a round of drinks because social dynamics require it. Attending events, joining activities, purchasing experiences. Not because they genuinely appeal to you, but because the social environment makes opting out feel uncomfortable or isolating. For extroverts, whose energy comes from social engagement, this type of spending is not even felt as pressure. It is simply what participation looks like, and it feels natural and rewarding. For introverts, the same social spending often feels like a transaction, paying money for an experience that drains rather than restores them. The introvert who declines the group dinner, skips the expensive social event, or chooses a quiet evening at home instead of a night out is not making a sacrifice. They are following their natural inclination, and that natural inclination consistently produces lower discretionary spending. Research on consumer behavior consistently finds that social environments amplify spending. People spend more in groups than they do alone. They spend more when making purchasing decisions in the presence of peers. They are more susceptible to impulse purchases when the purchase is socially visible, when others will see what they bought, where they went, and what they wore. Extroverts spend more time in these high-spend social environments, not because they are irresponsible, but because those environments are where they naturally seek to be. Introverts spend less time in these environments, not because they are disciplined, but because those environments are genuinely less appealing to them. The financial outcome of these different preferences compounds over years into meaningfully different savings rates. The second advantage is the relationship between introversion and social comparison spending. One of the most powerful and most destructive forces in personal finance is keeping up with peers. The tendency to calibrate lifestyle spending against the visible consumption of people around you. This tendency is not a character flaw. It is a deeply human social instinct. The same instinct that helps humans navigate status and belonging in social groups has been ruthlessly exploited by the consumer economy to generate spending that serves the economy rather than the individual. The person who buys the new car because their neighbor did, who upgrades their holiday because their colleagues posted theirs, who renovates their home because their social circle has moved to a new aesthetic standard, is responding to a genuine and powerful social signal, not to their own financial priorities. Introverts are not immune to social comparison, but their natural orientation is more inward than outward, more focused on their own internal standards than on external social benchmarks. research on introversion consistently finds that introverts are less susceptible to social influence in purchasing decisions. They are more likely to buy what they genuinely want rather than what signals the right things to the right people. They are more likely to make purchasing decisions based on personal utility. Does this thing actually serve me? Rather than social utility. Does this thing communicate the right things about me? This difference in decision-making orientation does not sound like a financial strategy. But over a lifetime of purchasing decisions, the accumulated difference between buying for internal satisfaction versus buying for social signaling is enormous. The third advantage is introversion's natural alignment with deliberate rather than impulsive decision-making. Introverts tend to process information internally and thoroughly before acting. They are less likely to make spontaneous social commitments and less likely to make spontaneous financial ones. The impulse purchase that happens in the heat of a social moment, in a store with a friend, at an event, in the collective excitement of a group experience, is significantly less likely to happen to someone who is not in those social environments in the first place, and who by temperament prefers to think carefully before deciding. Before we continue, take a second to like or subscribe. It is a simple action from you, but it's such a big deal for us, and it helps this video reach other money-minded people like you. Financial research on impulse purchasing consistently finds that the presence of others increases impulse buying significantly. Solo shopping produces more deliberate purchasing decisions than group shopping. Online shopping at home produces more deliberate decisions than in-store shopping in socially stimulating environments. The introvert's natural preference for solitary, home-based, digitally mediated activities rather than in-person socially stimulating ones means they are naturally doing more of their consuming in the lower impulse environments and less of it in the higher impulse ones. This is not discipline, it is personality. But the financial outcome is the same as if it were. The fourth advantage connects introversion to the kind of deep interest and expertise that tends to produce financial returns over time. Introverts characteristically develop deep rather than broad interests. They are drawn to mastering subjects, understanding systems, and engaging with complexity, rather than spreading their social and intellectual energy across many surface-level interactions. This tendency toward depth over breadth applies to financial knowledge just as it applies to everything else. The introvert, who becomes genuinely interested in personal finance, investing, or business, does not engage with it superficially. They read deeply. They follow the research rather than the headlines. They understand the mechanisms behind the advice rather than just following the recommendations. And investors who understand what they own and why they own it make significantly better long-term decisions than investors who are following tips or trends without a genuine understanding. The depth tendency also applies to the other side of the wealth equation, income. The careers and skills that command the highest financial returns in the modern economy are disproportionately suited to introverted working styles. Software engineering, data science, research, writing, accounting, law, medicine, architecture, high-income careers that reward deep focused work, independent problem solving, and sustained intellectual concentration. The open plan office era briefly threatened this advantage, but the remote work revolution has restored and amplified it. The ability to do deep focused work from home is a structural advantage for people who prefer exactly that environment. Introverts are not inherently better at these careers, but these careers are structurally compatible with the working style that introverts find most natural and most energizing. The fifth advantage is perhaps the most counterintuitive. Introverts tend to be better long-term investors, not despite their quietness, but because of it. Investing is an activity that rewards patience, discipline, and the ability to ignore social noise. And it punishes reactivity, social contagion, and the tendency to make decisions based on what everyone around you is doing. The stock market is essentially a machine for generating social pressure around financial decisions. When markets fall dramatically, everyone talks about it. The financial news is everywhere. The social environment says something must be done. The reactive investor sells at the bottom, locking in losses because the social and emotional environment made holding feel impossible. When markets rise dramatically, everyone talks about that too. The social environment says you should be doing more. The reactive investor buys expensive assets at the top because social validation of the investment is at its peak precisely when the investment is most overpriced. Introverts are not immune to these pressures. But they are by temperament less susceptible to social contagion, less likely to act on what everyone around them is doing, and more likely to rely on their own internal analysis and their own established framework. The introvert who set up automatic monthly investments in a low-cost index fund and does not check their portfolio more than necessary is not following Warren Buffett's advice through discipline. They are following their own natural instincts, to think carefully before deciding, to be skeptical of social consensus, to prefer their own analysis over external noise. Those instincts produce exactly the investing behavior that the research shows produces the best long-term outcomes. The sixth advantage is the relationship between introversion and hedonic adaptation. Hedonic adaptation is the human tendency to return to a baseline level of happiness relatively quickly after any change in circumstances, positive or negative. The person who buys the luxury car feels the thrill for a few months and then simply drives it. The person who moves into the bigger house enjoys the upgrade and then simply lives in it. The research on hedonic adaptation shows that experiences, particularly social and shared experiences, tend to produce more sustained happiness than material purchases. And this is where introversion creates an interesting financial dynamic. The introvert whose most satisfying experiences are characteristically lower cost, reading, learning, creating, cooking, walking, deep conversation with a small number of trusted people, rather than expensive social performance, is naturally oriented toward the kinds of experiences that produce sustainable happiness at lower financial cost. They are not sacrificing happiness for savings. They are genuinely happy doing things that cost less. This is not to idealize introversion or suggest that introverts are perfectly rational financial machines. Introversion comes with its own financial vulnerabilities that are worth acknowledging honestly. The tendency toward isolation can occasionally tip into avoidance, including avoidance of the difficult financial conversations and decisions that require engagement with the external world. Negotiating a salary increase, advocating for a promotion, pitching for a client, networking to create career opportunity. All of these income-building activities require the kind of confident external engagement that extroverts find more natural. The introvert who is brilliant at the deep work of their career but uncomfortable with the self-promotional aspects of career advancement may systematically undercharge, underpromote, and undernegotiate their way to a lower income than their skills warrant. The reluctance toward networking and social visibility can also translate into missed investment and business opportunities that flow through personal relationships and social capital. Some of the best investment opportunities, career pivots, and business relationships emerge from the kind of warm social network that extroverts build naturally and introverts maintain less assiduously. The introvert who saves exceptionally well from their salary may still be missing the higher income opportunities that would have made saving even easier. The most financially complete picture emerges when the natural strengths of introversion are genuinely cultivated, while the vulnerabilities are consciously addressed. An introvert who saves 25% of their income naturally, invests it patiently in low-cost diversified index funds, avoids social pressure spending and lifestyle inflation, makes deliberate purchasing decisions, and develops deep financial literacy, has a genuine structural wealth-building advantage over most people. If that same introvert develops the specific career advancement skills, negotiation, self-advocacy, strategic networking with a small number of high-quality relationships, that their natural temperament makes slightly less automatic, the combination is genuinely powerful. For extroverts reading this, the relevant insights are not about trying to become more introverted. That is neither possible nor desirable. The relevant insights are about identifying the specific spending behaviors where extroversion creates financial vulnerability and building the specific structures and habits that compensate for them. An extrovert who enjoys an active social life should automate their savings before the social spending begins. Because if the savings depend on what is left after the social spending, there will consistently be nothing left. An extrovert who is susceptible to social comparison spending should build explicit financial rules about specific categories, not because they cannot afford to spend more, but because without an explicit budget, the social environment will consistently pull the spending higher than their financial plan intends. An extrovert who tends to make impulsive purchases in social environments should implement a waiting rule. Any purchase over a certain amount requires 48 hours of deliberation before proceeding. These are not personality changes. They are structural compensations that acknowledge the spending vulnerabilities created by certain personality tendencies and address them systematically rather than relying on willpower alone. The introvert's financial strengths are not virtues that the extrovert lacks. They are natural tendencies that happen to align with good financial behavior. Any financial behavior can be engineered through structure, regardless of the natural tendency that would otherwise lead in the opposite direction. The deeper insight that the introvert money connection reveals is that personal finance is not purely rational. It is deeply social, deeply emotional, and deeply personality-driven. The advice that works brilliantly for one type of person may be entirely the wrong advice for another. Not because the underlying financial principles are different, but because the behavioral obstacles are different. The person whose financial challenge is social pressure, spending needs different tools from the person whose financial challenge is excessive caution and under-earning. The person whose investing vulnerability is reactive social contagion needs different guardrails from the person whose vulnerability is excessive conservatism and opportunity avoidance. Understanding your own personality and its relationship to your financial behavior is not soft psychology dressed up as financial advice. It is the foundation of genuinely personalized financial strategy. Because the strategy you will actually execute is always better than the perfect strategy you will abandon, because it does not account for who you actually are. Introverts have always had a quiet financial advantage. The consumer economy has been very good at telling them it is a disadvantage, that their preference for staying in is missing out, that their resistance to social spending is antisocial, that their lack of interest in visible status signaling is a failure of ambition. It is none of those things, but rather a different set of priorities that happens to align well with the behaviors that build genuine long-term financial security. And in a world that has spent decades telling them to be more outgoing, perhaps the most financially radical thing an introvert can do is simply stay home, keep saving, and let the compound interest do what compound interest does. Click here to watch our video on why people are running out of money, because understanding the social and behavioral forces that drive financial decisions is the most important context for everything else we talk about on this channel.